Hi everybody, my name is Jess, your go-to Road to Kingdom dance analyst, and we are here for the unit battles, fire versus ice. I'm excited for this. So I have somebody on Patreon that has been so incredible about breaking down the rules, even before I even take a look at the episode, so I can go in with as much information as possible to be a really good steward of my analysis for these battles. And so what we're looking at here is we're going to look at the fire in the fire and water, and pick our top 3 aces that stood out with each. They're their separate rankings, and I know they receive a point benefit that will help for their challenge that will hopefully get them into the finale. So without further ado, I'm pumped. I hope you are. Let's get into it. Like the reverb on that. It's like a whole track is what this is, yeah? Are we about to have water? Come on. Yes, we are. Thank you very much. Now that little extra reverb they added in there I find fascinating. Okay. It's funny how they ending vary these situations. Okay, so this unit challenge is going to be probably the most subjective out of all of them. Just for the simple fact of where someone is what their hair color is, what they're wearing, the camera angle that we're getting at any given moment can influence who we look for, right? So for me, I would say my 3 would be, I would have to go with ONEUS, my guy from ONEUS. I would also say my guy from THECREWONE. I think he's technically repping under ATBO. So those 2 at the moment naturally stuck out to me, and then my guy in blonde. And then my guy from 8 turned. Of course, like, I kind of know their names, but I'm a bit insecure about actually saying their names. So we're just gonna kind of call it that. So, yeah. So those would be my 2 for sure that I would feel like comfortable enough to know if I watched this, those would be the 2 I would vote for. And then the ones that it could kind of switch between would be my 8 turn guy and then my blonde guy. So, and you know, it just depends on, like I said, the camera angles. The other 2 guys, unfortunately, really didn't stick out to me. And we're also not going to make it to where it's not because I'm so familiar with some groups and I'm not with others. I've marathoned all of them. Now, have I been more exposed to ONEUS compared to the other groups? Naturally, yes, because of their sheer amount of discography that we've had the privilege of looking through already. But I've given love to all the groups, so it's not that I'm unfamiliar with any of them. So that's just my personal, subjective, who my eye was naturally drawn to, but we always have to remember where that camera was, who was captivating at what point, what they were wearing, the movements that they were doing, and how they were being shot really influences how we're going to receive it. And so that is absolutely okay. Your person probably did a fantastic job if I did not select them. Everybody held it down. It was really fascinating. So right here from the top, we do a little crawl right there up to the head. We open it, then we branch it down. We have these little extra crawlings that are taking place over the chest. Then you have Hwaung. So Hwaung would be one of my 2 aces I would have selected. He says love. They have that little hover over moment. They accent up and down. Then we have this other little subtle trace coming from 2 of our other guys in the accent. And we go and reset. We drop down. I like the little peel around with the connection with the hands is really fun. So I'm also curious if people were able to audition for certain sections, and so I wonder if this very opening was up for grabs and it's a very captivating kind of spot. You know, certain spots I think are going to naturally draw more attention than others, and so I think there was a competitive nature about that. I am looking forward to understanding and uncovering that in the episode later in this session. So it's fun. He does pretty good. It's a little twinkling of the grab is nice. And I like how it gave the impression that we lifted up. Now, if you're going to capture, if you are the natural focal point, I say this with most, if not all groups, doesn't matter if you're centered, you captivate me more or less than those around you. I would say Hwaung does a fantastic job of captivating when it's time to. And this is the example. You see what I mean? He also has a very interesting and distinct face, and that can really work in your favor in these cases as well. So it goes Moonlight. The interaction between those 2 was really nice. Then we have this bringing it over, so I like that moment there. Deep, dark. And then I guess if we're doing it off of comparison on who's singing, did they captivate me during their feature? Min Hui, I would say, is my guy right here. He did not inherently captivate me as much as my guy from 8 Turn did. So that could be my tiebreaker between those 2 in particular. But then they bring it over, drop, cool. But we also have to remember these camera shots are not setting him up as that feature like Hwaung was, you know. So this little hinge there, he goes hold, my breath, and then the accent there, brr, really nice. Out the gate was really cool there. No, no, no. Pulse was cool. So I think it was smart for him to have this little, you know, glove. It was fun. And it goes over, I'm drowning. He's not giving a ton of charisma in the face of this seductive quality, but once again, subjective here. This really isn't any objective schema we're going off of. This is, like I said, the most subjective, probably challenge of all of them that we've had the privilege of watching on the show, which it really is anybody's game, if I'm being honest, which kind of makes it fun. So they do a little guada guada with the buildup on the lower half of the body as they build the tension in the upper body, which is really nice. Then you have Hyuk. Hyuk is from, oh god, he's from Tempest, right? Yeah. And he does stick out to me when I watch Tempest material. So could it just be, you know, his lines that he got or his feature moments? Maybe, I don't know. Jaeyoon, then it's him. Oh, emotion. Now Jaeyoon does hold his spot quite well whenever you do see him on the screen. But it did take me some time for it to capture my attention. Hwaung immediately. But also that's going to come down to he's hanging upside down in the beginning, right? So they take the energy boom motion. I like the bleed through of the phrase, taking the rotation of the arms and traveling them all the way through. Then we reset and reset. Look at the little T's. The stylist knew what they were doing. Then it goes up and down. Then we have this moment, one at all. Okay. Then yeah. And then we have Jong Sun Hwan. He captures my attention. It could be because of costuming, but also how he's featured is a really clear direction shift, meaning that he's the only one facing the direction he's in. We're not seeing him already integrated with everybody else. It's kind of like that. He's conducting and controlling, so he's commanded my attention because of his commitment to matching everybody there, which is cool. We go up, and then he has I Need Your Love, Baby, drips it through the lips, but also notice that we have our center being Hwaung once again. So that deep, boom, dark, those reverbs are killer. We really like those. Then we have drip, boom, drop, and we see a little bit of that. A lot of teasing even in the back, which can really help as like a peripheral aid in your focal point. Bringing it over, and then of course we said, while we're here, might as well show a little bit of what I have, is what that feels, right? Then we have this little bounce, pulse around, we're bringing it up. That's a nice moment. Then we pick up the energy, push forward into just a reverb over, boom, over, and we're taking the arms, creating a nice range out of it, which is cool. Oh yeah, click, click over. Now Min Hui, once again, we have it close to him, but it feels very subdued and he's not really making an impact as much. Could it be because of the color grade of the stage, for the fact that has this silvery hair? Could that really work against him? There's always that chance your hair color can navigate for you and against you. Solid red hair can really, make you naturally stand out. Sometimes not in the best way. And here, does this wash him out? I don't know. But I know for me, that can be a factor to me potentially overlooking or making it feel imbalanced, like he has kind of an uphill battle in projecting his performance quality in these moments. You know what I mean? Drops in, boom, and then we build it up. And then we have this energy over. So I like his conversational elements is really nice. He's sticking out a little bit more for me in this analysis, but in the first watch, not as much, unfortunately. Paradise, which is nice. We go down with the throw. So there's a lot of these hinges and these swings, which I find to be really fun. They're cool. They turn through. And then we have this tension. Just tension's your best friend on this rotational phrase bleeding, meaning that once you complete a typical 8-count phrase, they actually have a movement that bleeds over, but that's more of a choreography choice. They all commit to it well. It's a fun track to see them really go for it. Then we hit it over. This little bleed through is nice. Paradise, yeah, boom, boom, drip, drop, hitting it over. Really nice click, click, click. Yeah, it's just really nice. And they have the energy, and we do a nice little bleed over trace across the face. Then we hit it over, and then we have that boom, give it love. That was the first time he caught me in a great way. The slide through is nice. Even here, commitment, he is owning it every time he's featured, which is a really good factor for an ace challenge. That's what you got to do. That huge fringe tells all moment there. He goes in. I love this extra reverb here. And then we have this little nice tension moment with our chest into our body. He's still maintaining the focal point, even though everybody's contributing. And he hit it through. I love the branch away. He has this moment slide through. The grab is nice. He throws him down. They go reset over. This is a really advantageous moment for if you got to pick 3 aces and you only have 2 people in frame. You're naturally going to have somebody watch both. That's a good thing in your favor for sure. Rotation is nice. They go down and right back up. They have this accent, and then we do a nice little just reverb on the tail end, which is really cool. Then hang it over. Brrr, boom. The oh. So I like that extra pulse. And then we have another little shampoo moment that we go down and bring it right back up. And then we have this little crazy. I love that we're using those ribs, not just our body, but the ribs are creating this nice rotational element. So as you're noticing and repeating a lot of things, rotation, tension, range, all of those things are working in their favor. That maintains this aura and essence of tension and tease, which is, I think, exactly what they're going for. Hitting it over, so the click, click over, and I love how we go high-low on that. Building it up, boom, boom. Captivating, swing, swing with the shoulders, the turn, just the rotation in, the boom, slow, 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 which we love that body roll there. And it goes in, out with a nice little punch with the elbow. And then we have this energy where we take our arm and we do a nice little throw on that. We have this little whisper moment too, rotating it around, twinkle, twinkle. And then we drop it out. New feature, he rotates it through. Now, I would say with Hyuk, he has gray hair, and I think because of color grade, that could also have potentially worked against him as well. But also, if everybody's got that same hair color, it's going to be hard to kind of pinpoint who sticks out. So I understand it's a risk if you're going to do a hair color like this, and the risk is, will it match or will it work and vibe with the type of scenery you're given? For me, I do think it's a risk. The rotation through is cool and the accent there is fine. So he has good charisma, good conversation, but I don't know if it's strong enough compared to all the other aces having to pull the same degree of performance quality, right? So it goes in, like the with the, oh my gosh, with the ankle, oh my gosh, no ankle, wrist, goodness gracious. So I like that little subtle levels, boom, deep, dark. I keep thinking drip, drop, but that's the second phrase there. So I like how they reframe it here with a just pulsing reverb, and that, I really like the clarity of that we saw with the wrist. Then we dip down in, boom, 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 boom. We pull it up. Notice we didn't tease with the abs as much that time as we did the first time. And so it's a repeat of what we've already kind of seen. Hit over. This choreo is really fun, honestly. Drip, 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 boom, drop. So definitely that little like time's ticking, you know. So I like that we have some staccato ISO integration in this as well. And side note, how it was choreographed, pretty well done for the fact it was with a group of 6. Even numbers are really hard to create symmetry on one-point features, and they do well, but that's also the benefit of having, you know, having a heavy camera influence. This isn't a fixed cam, and it wasn't shot to be intended that way either, which is why there's more forgiveness in how the choreography is structured, because it wasn't supposed to be read in a fixed cam way, right? So it's cool. So he has that moment, paradise, and they end up swinging it again. And they do a little pulse, and then they do a nice tension dig out of it. So I am curious, do the stylists of the teams get to style them? They're just given kind of a, what is it? A, not prompt, but there's a certain name for it. They're given like a little portfolio or a schema of what they have to follow, and then they get to pick. Because some of them got some fantastic options, and others got like your typical kind of fits, which is interesting, right? I think it's, once again, there's so many questions, right? So hit it over, boom, like, come on. He is freaking bedazzled out the wazoo. Very captivating, and he's the most conservative out of everybody, too, but he has a different tag style that's really showcasing forth. There's your reverb once again. I like the hit over and around, and the first time we saw that somebody was doing this, but it was Hwang who was the feature in that moment because he was the one singing and the camera was on him. So that's a little thing there, too. Yeah, boom, give it. Oh, and the little open is really fun. Then they go bring, high to low. And look, right here. Bridge, we have Hwang again. He was in the opening and he's in a big tone shift, which is right here. They all bleed to the inside. His stand is nice. They're on the ground. So he's technically the only one in frame, if you think about it. You know, there's all about your placement on some of this stuff. So part of me thinks Hwang got a really nice benefit of his spot he was in. I can see your bright light. And the switch up is cool. I love that choice. And he kind of travels through. And then this energy takes it up. All the arms shoot down. Then they have this boom. They have that little sporadic vibrationary hand to travel it up. Then he has his moment. Day. Drop. And then they're walking. In my head, when I was watching, probably about halfway through, I remembered when I took a look at the episode last week, I knew there was rain involved because I was really excited and hopeful for it. And so that's why I said what I said, and being very happily pleased with water. Way to go. They drop down. It is a lot trickier to dance in water than you think. It's always a liability and a huge risk. Just like dancing on a flat surface will always cause some sort of risk because you're dancing. But they did really well on hitting all this to drop down. Now this right here, that was a really nice moment with, you see it, Mr. 8-turn leader right there. Great tone set. He captured, encapsulated that camera very, very well. For the limited amount of time, boom, boom, and I love that. The reverby kind of shake out is nice. Then it goes punch, 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 punch. The drop back is nice. The kick there is cool. The switch up on that. Then we have one of our features. He goes and he rotates around. They all turn up. And then he has this drip drop. Come on. Now that part did look a smidgen, marked, but it's because you're in rain, or maybe that's just how it was choreographed. That's life. This part's interesting. It's giving a heavy Gen 2, like old Gen 2, borderline Gen 1. You're in the rain. It's angsty. You just changed the filter on this and you got yourself a TVXQ vibe, is what it feels like to me. But it could just be me. Da, 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 which wouldn't surprise me because I think, who was this that did this? I think it was Choi Young-joon, right? I think he was in charge of water, and then Mihawk was in charge of fire. So if it was in fact Choi Young-joon, then he had history dancing with no, that was what's her face from 17, our creative director or performance director with them. She danced with Super Junior. You know, my point actually is no point. I'm just saying that I like the vibe of it, and it's very fitting for this type of track. It's a cool thing, and it does feel very water-based. It's cool. Then you have Paradise. I like that shampoo around. Then they're picking it up. They're all like, this is what we gotta do. But Hwang did not do it there, but he's still captivated. Very fascinating, right? Then we bring it up and they throw it down. Then the knee slide is really cool. And then look, again, there's people that are catching my eye every time where it's like, ooh, I feel your tension here. There's your dolphin. One of our guys does not fully go down. Could we be singing? Maybe. Come up. Reason he said, let me scoop up some water and go drip drop on my body. Bless it. And this part is literally I'm not assuming the fire stage to be playing with fire like this. Maybe. Who knows? It's Kingdom. But I mean, they are really taking advantage. Some of the aces that are standing out to me are taking advantage of the water element in a way that is captivating. When those 3 seconds, 5 seconds they're on screen, you're seeing it. But notice here, some of the guys that don't stand out to me, they aren't getting this full frontal camera shot like some of my other guys are, right? It just goes back to so many things like that, you know? The ones who aren't, I would say, is right here. He's not. No, he's a bit behind. And then these three are really not getting a lot, but my other three are, right? So that's the first one. But then notice, because his glove was a bit, you know, not dark, but it was it's not bulky either, but it kind of is. It doesn't have that kind of clear crispness that we saw from our crew 1 member that did it, right? The pulse on that's really nice. And the 2 come up, that was cool. And then look at that. Every time he's gotten a zoom in, he has owned it. That is a really smart thing here. And they go, love. Now, who captivates you here on the in frame? I would say he does, because he's closer. He does. He did, and a lot of zoom ins. I would say the glove may not have worked for this particular pose. It's a bit hard to read here, and then here it was fun. Like I can be captivated there. So in a nutshell, that's just, remember, subjective Jess today for this challenge, because you can't be objective on this. It is literally who captivated your attention more and who got the best parts, honestly, is what this is, and who owned the parts that they did in fact have. So that's going to be my underlying note with this. Very fascinating we have this challenge, because it's so different than all the other units from Kingdom and Queendom. It makes me intrigued on what the fire stage is going to be. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am doing full episode deep dives in analysis and just refined feedback on Patreon. If that interests you at all, you don't have to go over there. We're always having a great time in the comments there, as well as on YouTube, and I do my best to release things in a timely manner for you guys if they are active shows, such as Stage Fighter here with Road to Kingdom Season 2, Ace of Ace, and Street Woman Fighter Vietnam are kind of my hot and ready to go live kind of shows, which is really fun for me. And yeah, all that to say, I'm just really glad to be here hanging out with you guys. You guys know me, I know you. I'm Jess, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.